Today, we're going to talk about how to have and establish a clear vision for your business. A lot of times when we think about business, what we do is sometimes we go directly to a product. When I say that, say, you know, you want to start a business, and then your friend comes in and says, "Hey, why don't you sell life insurance?" Well, you take the position why? Because of the opportunity for money. But you don't really think about, does it apply to what I'm called to do? How does it get me closer to what I'm supposed to be? You're looking at it in one dimension of resources, which is money. Am I saying ignore money? No, I'm not saying ignore money, but you can't let money be the reason why you're being led around. And a lot of people are miserable in their job because they did not funnel their job through vision. So before I jump into that, let's talk about what vision is. Vision is supposed to be a clear mental picture of a preferable future. That's what Dr. Miles Monroe would have said. He said, vision is a clear mental picture of a preferable future. Now, what I like about that is he said preferable future. He didn't say your reality. He didn't say what's definitely going to happen. He said it's a preferable future, which means to every vision, you have to tie your work. You got to put the work in. But a lot of times what we do is we put the work before the vision, and then we end up doing what we call the rat race. Instead of going after what we have saw in our mind's eye of the possible future, we end up living in the present. And what I mean by that is we're seeing another way. What do I mean by that? Sight. There's two ways of seeing. There's sight versus vision. Sight is what's in front of you. But a lot of times when you build your decision based on sight, we end up making short-term decisions that affect us long-term. Why? Because when we're in sight situations, what's in front of you seems bigger than what it really is. I usually, when I'm on the stage, I'll say, put your hand in front of your face. When you're looking at your hand in front of your face, your hand looks bigger than it really is. But the reality is that your hand is not really big. It's what you are focusing on in front of you. And it's short-sighted. So what happens when tragedy hits and pandemics happen, if you do not have a vision of your preferable future of what you are working towards, wide vision, you'll get distracted on things that are right in front of you. How many things that are right in front of you that you're dealing with right now that are distracting you, that are taking more attention than it needs to? Why? Because it seems like it's bigger than what it really is. So are you living life by sight or by vision? And vision is being able to see what's before you. Sight is what's in front of you. Vision is what's before you. How are you living your life? When you find yourself into one situation after the other, you always seem to have your back up against the wall. Why? Because you're walking and you're living by what's in front of you. You're dealing what's in front of you. Why? Because it looks like if I don't deal with this roadblock, it's going to encompass my life. If you looked at the pandemic that happened a few years back, the pandemic actually created opportunities for some where it ended up being a pit for others. Why? Because people that have vision understand that tragedy, when it comes, it does not negate purpose. Tragedies are going to come, conflicts are going to happen, but it does not negate that you were called. It does not negate that you have a bigger sight that's before you. It does not negate. It doesn't stop your business. It only stops your business when you take your time to focus on just the problem by itself. So now that we are not focusing on what's in front of us, we realize that vision allows you to have a wider picture of the view of the world around you. It allows you to see what's in front of you, but it also keeps your focus on what's before you. And that gets you the motivation to continue on and pursue the dream, regardless of the obstacle, regardless of the opposition. Why? Because I know this opposition is temporary. I know this crisis is a crisis that needs my attention, but it does not need my focus. Why? Because I'm going to focus on accomplishing that big picture that's before me. When you have a sense of vision, vision actually is essential because it also is a protector. When you have vision, vision will protect you because when you know what you are building your business towards, when you know what you are directing your direction to, that it tells you what you should be focusing on, right? Vision, you should be running everything that you have through that vision. That vision should be so much as a level of importance that it becomes a protector. How do I know it protects me? Because when you are living by under the protection of your vision, it will protect you in the areas of your relationships. um, how much time do you spend with certain people? It allows you to put a limit on how much people can withdraw from you. It'll even filter and protect you in your employment, right? If you're employed based off of the vision that you are building, you see your job not as a source but a resource. So when your season is over somewhere at a particular job, it doesn't stop you from moving forward. It doesn't cripple you. You just realize that that's the season. I've gotten everything I need, and you do an evaluation. What has this position made me stronger? Why? Of what I'm going to. I always, when I was in the full-time working career, I was always look at my job in reference to what I knew my I was called to do. So I knew I was called to do my own business. I knew I was supposed to create my own consulting firm. I knew that I was going to learn, be focused on building leaders in communities. So when I took certain positions, I interviewed with my vision and my purpose in mind so that I can make the best of the resources that are given to me. When you realize how valuable your job is, you won't treat it like it's a headache every day, but you'll treat it like it's the opportunity that it is, that it's an opportunity to get you closer to fulfilling your vision. And then when that season is over on your resume, those skills that you have attained at that job should position you and make you stronger for accomplishing the vision that's before you. That's why you're never really shook when changes happen, right? So it will protect you in your relationships. It'll protect you in the work that you are doing, right? And it'll protect you with your mental health as well because you know what to give people. People will take from you if you give it. People will take from you if you give them the space to take from you. But if you know that you're living your life for vision, the relationships that they have end up being a what's the word I'm looking for? Not a commodity, but it ends up being valuable. It has value to it, right? So every relationship that you have, it's either building you up or you're building them up. If you're finding yourself in situations where you're constantly being drained and it's not feeding you and it's not building you up, then you know that's a vision distractor. That's a relationship that's distracting you from your vision. When I say your relationships, even your intimate, your close relationships, who you're choosing as a partner, you need to make sure that your partner knows what your vision is. Because it's nothing worse than getting on a boat and finding out that you're going in two separate directions. So your close relationships, your intimate relationships, who you choose as a spouse is valuable. Why? Because that person is supposed to be rocking with you and they see the vision and they're on one accord with your vision and they want to grow that vision with you. You want to grow their vision. It ends up being what I love to talk about, symbiotic relationships, right? It ends up being a symbiotic relationship that you're growing together. So when you have a vision, it allows you to know who you need to connect with, where you're spending your time, what books are you reading. When I first started learning how to do even what I'm here to do in today videos today, I learned and spent my time learning from YouTube University, taking classes. It helps me to know where I'm spending my money too. You see, excuse me, when I one of the biggest mistakes I've seen in the entrepreneurial space and especially in the speaking industry is I see speakers that have messages but they don't have vision. And when they build a message, or and that's a synonymous of building a product without having a system. And the reason why is they're living their business day by day based off of a product, not off of vision, and wondering why they're not maximizing their income, because they've made their vision a sight situation of, I need money, so I need a product. But products and messages are for seasons. The vision is for legacy. So when you're creating vision, you're not creating vision in the present. You're creating vision in the future. And all of your faith steps, all of your steps that you're taking to get there is the journey along the way that we're talking about, right? So vision protects you. Vision can be a filter, right? Is a filter. It allows you now to open yourself up to the relationships that you need to have and close those relationships that are holding you back, right? So without vision, you end up wasting also time, you also waste money, and you also waste resources. You say, well, time I get, but money and resources, yes, money money and resources are not the two, not necessarily the same thing. Your time is a commodity, right? Your money is a commodity, right? Where you're placing your money to. Your resources are more than money. Your resources are, excuse me, your relationships. Your resources are um, your talents, your gifts, your abilities, right? We talked earlier about your job being a resource. So when you don't understand vision, you will abuse your resources, you will abuse your money, and you'll abuse your time. You will spend money on things that are not necessarily putting your business in the front spot, putting your family in its right spot if you're not living by vision. Vision allows me now to know what projects I should pay for in the season that I need to pay for. When I remember when I first started speaking, one of my friends that I have right now had a business, and he was doing documentaries on businesses, documentaries on entrepreneurs, and it was really professional. It was great, but it had a pretty big price tag on it. And as a new speaker, I didn't have the resources, the reputation, and basically I still hadn't had the time of developing my brand, right? But when I heard that price tag, a part of me was discouraged. But because I understood I was building a vision for my future and I was preparing for my future, I didn't give up because of the lack of resources. I realized that the resources that I had at that time were not appropriate for the season that I was in, which was my start. But what's great about that is once I started and I built it along the line, and I was about 5 years in, or 5 or 6 years in, and now my reputation is there. I had my time in, and now I had the resources to do it. I was able to do it, but I did not make a short-term decision based off of what I had at the moment. I could have made a sight decision and just said, this is not for me. Because when you realize, when you get into this world, there are a lot of coaches, there are a lot of products, there are a lot of programs, and it can be very overwhelming. But having a vision allows you to prioritize what's important for the season that you're in. How much money have you wasted because you didn't have a clear vision? How much money have you, resources that you have potentially had and didn't even realize they were resources? Like, one of your greatest resources, again, I will say again, is your job. Your job is a great resource. But if you don't see the value of that resource in the big picture and you live every day by sight, you'll be like, this is the worst job ever. I can't stand this job. And you'll miss out training opportunities. There was a job that I had that I could have had college paid for. I could have had a doctorate paid for. About the time that I spent with that company was wasted in that particular area because I didn't realize the resource that was in front of me. If your job is paying for your education, Take the time to increase your education, which is going to increase your skills, which is going to make you stronger and better for what you're trying to build yourself to. Vision. Another area that vision we struggle with when it comes to vision is how to communicate your vision, how to communicate your need of your vision. Your vision, number one, is going to be bigger than what you have. So when you're looking at vision, understand that it's going to be widescreen. It's going to be IMAX theater. It's going to be wow, bigger, better, light years than you really are right now. And if you're looking at vision and it's manageable, that's not vision. The reason why vision is bigger than life is because the vision is also bigger than you. It's going to take more than you to bring the vision to pass. If the vision is about you, yourself, and I, you probably won't get far, right? And if you can do it all by yourself, you're not doing it right. But the problem is when we have vision, we don't know how to communicate vision in a way that gets other people to want to link in, right? One of the most valuable lessons in sales I've learned was the art of the elevator pitch. And I think that the elevator pitch, when we says that you have about 30 to 60 seconds to be able to share what you do and what makes you valuable. People don't have a long time. So when you're in that elevator for 30 to 60 seconds, you have 30 to 60 seconds to make a first time impression. Well, I like to say that the elevator pitch is a way of communicating the value of your vision in a short, precise way. And I'm going to give you the blueprint on how to do your elevator pitch to help get you to visualize what your vision is. Because if I was to ask you, what is your vision? Could you communicate it? It's in here. If the vision is just in here alone, it is a dream. If the vision is just in here alone, it is just a dream, right? What makes a vision is when we can start putting plans to it. You believe it so much that you can put plans to it so that you can, and with plans come strategies and seasons, right? So when you have plans, strategies, and seasons, now you have a vision. But now we have to communicate that vision. So I want you to write these words down: who, what, why, how, and where. I'll say it again: who, what, why, how, and where. Okay. You have to be able to share who are you? Who are you? Okay. What makes you different? What is it that you do and what makes you different? So we say, who are you? What am I doing? What makes me different? That goes to your why. Why should you be interested in dealing with me over all the people that you can go to? Why would you deal with me? Why would you want to deal with me? Right? Well, I'm going to share how I can help you. And maybe you do 2, 3 things of how you're going to make a difference in the people that you're going to come in contact with, your business, your life vision, and how you're going to help the world in your situation. Because most of the time when you're doing your vision, it's outwards. It's how you're going to impact the world, how you're going to change the situation, right? They need to know the how, and they need to know where they can find you. Like you can find me at the Champiam community, right? .com. It's a full community that we're going to show you on how to live your life on purpose, how to live your life by vision and not by sight. And then it will also be interactive with one another, that we can communicate with each other and stay in touch with each other. And then you can also build relationships with the people that are in the room. So it's not about just the content, but it's also about how we can connect, right? So again, explain your vision: who, what, why, how, and where. When you can communicate that clearly within 30 to 60 seconds, right? What you've learned is a skill now that you're able to communicate the vision. And when you communicate the vision well, people will hear what your product is, they can hear what your solution is, they can hear what your heart is, and they'll see a little bit of themselves in your vision, and then they're going to want to help you. I have a whole other session that we can do about making room for the help. Because a lot of times when we get so invested in our vision, we make it about us and we get so focused on what we're doing that we get the blinders on that we don't see how other people can help you. There are people that are door openers. There are people who are there to mentor you in the right season. There are people there to coach you in the right season. So if you don't know that, you won't be able to know the difference. So again, this is just part one on why vision is important and the clarity of vision is important and the communication of vision is important. So if you like what you heard, please connect with me in the community. The champiamcommunity.com is a full community. That's a free community where you'll be able to watch leadership content, motivational content, faith-based content on how to grow in the marketplace as a Christian in the marketplace. We have a faith-based center as well, and then we'll also be building the relationships and the connection. So if you want to learn more about Champiam, go in and join the free Champiam community. It's another place where you can get positive content that's going to build your life for the better. My name is Chris Hampton, Champiam, and I am so excited to connect with you. And I hope that you can see clearly now that your vision is on.